Mother Maybelle got a new transmission back in March, and since then I've been busy working my build, working on all the things that have been bothering me and all the things I wanted to tweak. I've put in an indoor kitchen, I've been beefing up the electricity, working on more storage, because I have pretty big plans ahead. So let's show you what I've been working on. So yes, I have plans for a big trip coming up. I will share that with you in a minute. First, I want to show you what I've been working on in preparation for it, though. And a big part of that preparation has been this cabinet. I had two main issues I was hoping to solve. The first was I was getting a lot of errors in my fridge, and come to find out it was a voltage drop. My fridge was too far from my electrical source, so I needed a way, one, to beef up my electric, and two, to have my refrigerator very close to it. And so I found this cabinet where it was already divided neatly, kind of into 2/3 and 1/3, and this 2/3 I've dedicated to my electrical system and my fridge. And then this 1/3 is solving my other issue, which was I was not using my rear kitchen, my outdoor kitchen, as much as I would like. It was just one step too many to pull everything out and set it all up each time I wanted to cook. And so I was not eating as well as I would have liked, and I wanted to have an option to be able to cook inside. And so now all of my kitchen things are stored in these drawers, and I can cook on this surface. So this cabinet was a great find for me. I found it on Facebook Marketplace. It originally was a changing table, and I found it for $50. It was the perfect measurement to fit between my bed and the cabinet I use for my dirty laundry, and I also use it as the top of it as a water station, and it just fit perfectly in this spot. I had to do quite a few adaptations to it. I sanded it down, I painted it, I polyurethaned the top. So there's been a lot of work that goes into it, but it's been a great solution. Great solution for what I needed. So first, let me show you what I did with my electric. And I now have 300 amp hours of battery, and I have added a charge controller, which is back in there behind the battery, which will be the beginning of my solar system. Right now I'll use it with my portable solar panel and plug it in through the window. Eventually I hope to put solar panels on top of the van. I also added back here a heftier power inverter. This is a 1500 watt power inverter now, so it can handle more draw. And I put two heftier 12-volt plugs, one in the top here and one in the back of the cabinet. You can't really see it, but that will be for my fridge. And here's the cabinet with the fridge installed. I have a pull-out shelf, so I can pull the fridge out to access it, and that allows it to stay very close to the power source, so I have no more voltage drop. And I'll also show you on the drawer side, I've just replaced the handles and put these little drawer stoppers on. Each of the drawers just holds things I use for cooking, my gadgets, and then this bottom little drawer I am most proud of, because that is where the wheel well is. I had to cut out the bottom of the cabinet in the back so it would fit over the wheel well. And so rather than lose this bottom drawer, I just cut it down to size so it can still be used. I keep my electrical cords. Believe it or not, I've been working on that cabinet since before Mother Maybelle got her transmission fixed. It's been over 4 months that it took me to finally get it in the van. Van builds, any project I do anymore seems to go so slowly. I've been thinking about how slowly that goes, but how I don't want to stop moving forward and how important that is to me. And I just felt like on the eve of this big trip that I'm planning, that I just wanted to share a little bit about what the reality of that is for me and why it's so important. Many years ago now, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety disorder, and eventually diagnosed as treatment resistant in both of those things. So this van represented a creative way, an experiment for me to see if I could improve my physical and mental health. I think the spoon analogy describes it best. You've probably heard it before. It's the analogy where everyone starts with the same number of spoons for the day, meaning that we all start with the same amount of energy. But being the good minimalist and van lifer that I am, I really only carry one spoon. I'm going to use something vital to van life, batteries. And let's say we all start the day with 4. So we all start with the same amount of energy, but say you have a chronic condition and that knocks out a battery before you've even done anything that day. That amount of energy is already gone dealing with that condition. And if you have a second one or a compounding one, there's another battery gone. Now you're down to 2 batteries and you've not done anything yet for the day. If you have a full-time job like I do, there's another battery gone. So before you know it, you're down to 1 battery to do everything that you have to and everything you might want to in the day. Get dressed, cook food, have relationships with other people, run errands, do chores. And needless to say, the 1 battery often isn't enough. It feels like it's not enough to survive, much less have anything left for doing something that brings you joy or brings you peace. So my goal in building out this van was to strip back my life to its simplest form, to see if I could have some battery left to spare for more joy and more beauty in my life. So I am constantly looking for ways to do things better with less thought, with less effort. So now that I'm preparing for a longer trip, I thought it was very important to take a deeper look at how everything works. And so nothing was too big or too small. I've already showed you my kitchen cabinet, but small things like my mattress. I thought when I initially put it in, it would be important for it to fit snugly. But the reality was that I had to wrestle my mattress every time I made my bed. Was it really going to be worth the effort to just shave an inch off the side and the length of my mattress? Yes. Yes, it is. And then my closet door. The closet door. It's just 1 millimeter too tall, maybe 2 millimeters. But it's just enough that when I open it, I have to drag it across the floor. And it marks up the floor and it bothers me. So those 2 millimeters are going to come off. And then there is how the van looks. Before this trip, I decided to tackle some of the rust on the body of the van. Totally out of my comfort zone. But she looks so much better now that it's taken care of. I'm prepping and planning for the biggest trip I've ever attempted. There's still some fine-tuning left, but the route is clear, and now it's time to show you exactly where I'm headed. Mother Maybelle, June, and I were embarking on our biggest adventure yet. We're heading out on a cross-country journey, and we're going to follow the Great Northern Highway, U.S. Highway 2, west from Michigan, all the way to Washington State. And then for the journey home, we'll turn east and trace the historic Route 50 back to Ohio. Both US 2 and Route 50 share a common thread. They were created long before today's interstates and represent a slower way of travel. They connect rural communities in a way that our interstates can't replicate. Today, our highways bypass these towns, leaving them quiet and forgotten. And that's the magic for me. There's an authentic charm in small towns like these, and I believe they have stories worth discovering. This trip is about seeing the vastness of this country at a slower pace that works for me. There's going to be history and challenges and plenty of unknowns ahead. but that's part of the appeal. I'll be taking you along if you want to come. I can't wait to see what's ahead for all of us. If you'd like to follow Mother Maybelle, June, and me as we travel cross country, I hope you'll subscribe below and follow us on our socials. I'll be posting snapshots from the road, real-time updates, and maybe even some surprises. Now I want to hear from you. If you've traveled cross country on Highway 2 or Route 50 or are local to either of these routes, leave your favorite stops or hidden gems in the comments below. I'm all ears, and this trip is just getting started.